So you're here with Sean and Andy from Tough Waterproofing, and in this episode we're going to talk about GRPing onto a new timber deck. And for this one we're going to assume this is a cold roof application. We will cover warm roof build-ups in a future episode. So for TuffStuff GRP, most common application is onto new timber decking. So the best decking for this, if you're going to be using it for light maintenance, a little bit of foot traffic, going up, cleaning windows, etc. 18mm OSB. We recommend the 18mm OSB 3 tongue and groove board. So the tongue and groove board we actually put down what we call upside down, so that we've got the small gap on the bottom and the large gap showing upwards on our roof. So the idea for this is as the boards get knocked together, we've got this gap. And when we start to laminate, we're looking to fill this gap in with resin, basically gluing the boards together and actually making them stiffer. We can actually use 18mm OSB 8x4 sheets. What do you reckon on using those, Sean?
Absolutely, we were doing it for years. The only thing is you need to cut all the short ends centre of joist to support all the short ends. And then we got to reinforce the joints because we're going to have differential movement between the boards. With the tongue and groove boards, because they're interlocked, we got none of that. So we're going to bandage all the joints with a fiberglass bandage. Been doing it for years, but it's more time, more tough stuff. And you will just see the outline of all the bandaging. Still looks great, but with the tongue and groove boarding, obviously that you don't get that problem.
So 18mm tongue and grooved OSB for our standard roofing installation. If we're going to go on to do a balcony installation, we do look at upgrading the boards.
Yeah.
And you're looking to get roughly about an inch board, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I think they do OSB 24mm or softwood ply.
Softwood ply. Got to be softwood, not hardwood.
Yeah.
And of course, when you are installing your decking, just check the pitch of your roof. Obviously, building regs, we want a minimum fall of 1 in 60. We want to try and avoid standing water at all costs. It won't affect the system, but it can look unsightly on a roof.
And of course, getting to our age, as we do, handling 8x2 boards is much easier than 8x4s.
Definitely, so, every day.
Personally, I'd go with the tongue groove board all day long.
So for fixing, Sean, fixing down our decking?
Yeah, plenty of screws. We recommend at least minimum 200 centres. 4 per joist or 2 per joist on that. So on average, you're looking at 24 fixings per 8x4 board, 12 per 8x2s. Now, you can use Pasloads, but screwing is by far the best method.
Yeah. So again, with the decking, once you've got the decking down, if you're not going to be laminating that day, you want to make sure that this board is kept dry. You can't laminate onto a wet deck, you will suffer delamination, and it is pretty much impossible to dry out a wet deck.
Absolutely,
it's just not going to happen. So
impossible to dry them out.
One of the things to look at, and it certainly works really well with the tongue groove board, is that actually as you finish for the day, before you put your tarpaulin over the roof, which is your old tarpaulin, probably got a few holes in it, give the boards a thin coat of catalysed resin. We call it licking the boards. So now if any water does get through your sheets overnight, it's sitting on top of the sealed board.
Absolutely.
Just get rid of the moisture the next day and you're ready to go.
And of course we used to use the visqueen, which is ideal. Comes 25 metres long, 4 metres wide. Cover your actual roof without any joins in it. So yeah, make sure your boards stay dry, and that's the most important.
It really, really is. And of course, when we're putting our decking down, we want to leave a gap at the back between the edge of the board and the building or the wall we're butting up to. 18 to 25mm gap at the back, which is actually going to be covered by the angle fillet. You're never going to see it, and it's going to allow that roof a little bit of movement where it needs it.
Very important to leave your spacing around the edges.
So, all of the episodes that we're going to do, all those details are covered in our install guide. So it's a really good idea just to check the install guide, just to make sure you're absolutely covering everything.
Absolutely.